Yeah, yeah.
With us, all right? Coming up on Mental Health Marty, listen, we are so excited about our monthly show talking about Black culture, community, and Christ. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. What's going on, everyone? It's me, it's your boy, it's your host, your mental health hygienist, Martinez Sellers, coming to you live and always in living color in Southern California, where the sun is always shining. I'm just happy that we don't have any more fireworks going off. I promise you, I thought I was in a third world country in the city of Fontana because we have fireworks over here. And I tell you, someone shot one and caught a bush on fire. We was all out there watering our grass and everything because our houses weren't going up in flames. But how you doing and how you living? Hope you all had a safe holiday weekend, however you chose to celebrate it or not. Listen, I chose to celebrate Juneteenth because that was our celebration there. The 4th of July was my day off. Listen, I am patriotic, but I also recognize the history of this nation. And we have a lot to still continue to fight for when it comes to equality and everything that we do. But hope you are doing well. Listen, I'm so excited about tonight's show. But let me tell you what we are all about. Let's go to the credits, what we try to talk about first and foremost about the Mental Health Marty Show. The Mental Health Marty Show is intended as an educational tool. And listen, these are just our opinions. They are not a law or anything, but we want to make sure that if you are suffering with any type of mental health diagnosis, any type of challenges, we are not your substitute for seeing your therapist, your psychiatrist, your psychologist, your medical doctor, your pastor, your life coach, or anything. We are a part of the treatment plan, and we want to encourage you to always do the right thing by seeing your therapist. Listen, you need to make sure you have a therapist on call at all times, just like you have your dentist, just like you have your workout, just like you have your primary care. Ladies, just like you have your OBGYN. Listen, men folk, we need a male doctor, but you also need to have your therapist. So listen, if you're experiencing any type of medical or psychiatric emergency, please go to your nearest urgent care or dial 911. But if you're sane and in the place, stay with us because we have a great show for you tonight. Now, how do you engage with us in the conversation? This is how you engage. I'm so glad you asked. If you're already, of course, you got to be looking at us on the Mental Health Marty Show YouTube channel. So put in some comments. We want to see that you're out there. Let us know that you're out there. Listen, say, hey, how you doing? How you living? And all that great stuff. Let us know that you are out there and listening to us tonight because we have a show, and invite some other people in the room because we got a conversation and we got to talk. We have a lot to talk about, what's happening in our community, the divide that's happening in our nation, and how do we keep our sanity in the midst of everything that is going on. But make sure you like and subscribe to us so that you are notified every time this show goes live. And we got some major stuff that's happening in the month of November. I'm already in, this is July. Lord have mercy. Y'all pray my strength in the Lord in these last and evil COVID days. But in July is Mental Health Awareness Month for minority community. So it's minority mental health awareness. And I don't necessarily like the term minority because it makes people think less than. So those communities where often services are marginalized, when we don't have proper access to them or know how to get access to them. That's what this month is all about, making sure that we have equal representation among all communities, again, amongst all communities when it comes to mental health and mental health awareness, because mental health does not care how much money you have. It does not care about your race, your color, your creed, your orientation, how you identify, how you don't identify. It is an equal opportunist when it comes to an equal opportunity employer that will ride your back if you don't know how to deal with it. So that's why it's so important that you stay connected and you keep your mind intact. So listen, so glad that you're here. Let's get started about what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about Black culture, community, and Christ. And I'm so glad to have this amazing young lady with us. Listen, she is no stranger to the Mental Health Marty Show, because she has her own platform called The Daughters Dialogue. When she talks about the Cinderella syndrome, she is the queen herself, none other than Dr. Marguerita Story. Dr.
Hey
Story.
there. Hi there, beloved. How are you?
I am amazing. How are you?
Honey, I am doing fabulous in these last and evil COVID days.
COVID days. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes. Miss Tanya, how are you? Good evening. Thank you for sharing the page. Listen, how are things? How are you doing in the Philly area? How's Philly treating you these days, and how's life treating you?
All is well. All is well. We're just in a busy season for me right now, and just with a lot of travel. And God is doing so much. Had some classes tonight, setting some things in ministry, and got some
Yes,
new stuff. Is going to be coming soon, and I pray that we'll be able to partner in much of it, because I love and appreciate you and our Mac in the back for all
likewise.
that he does. And so
Yes,
I'm so grateful to God for that. But I'm just excited. But I'm just at a time where I'm a little concerned about what's going on out in these gospel
yes,
streets.
yes.
I'm
Come on and
just
talk to us.
concerned because we got Bishop Dollar down there talking about he believes that he been teaching wrong about tithing, and then he said he gonna agree to disagree, and he should have started with that because
Right,
he
right.
was utilizing Romans 6 and 14 about no longer being under the law, but under
Mm-hmm.
grace,
Mm-hmm.
as his
Mm-hmm.
tenet for the reason why he believes that tithing is an Old Testament concept. Well, it is an Old Testament concept, but it had
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with the law. That when you
Right.
go and utilize the biblical understanding of first mention,
Come on.
you'll
Come
find out
on.
that the tithe was first mentioned in the book of Genesis, where
Mm-hmm.
Abraham gave a tenth of everything because of his
Everything.
appreciation. And it wasn't a
Yes.
law that had been established, it was love. And so if you
Yeah.
don't
Come on.
study the word enough, you'll believe that God was trying to legislate giving when
Oh, that's
love
good.
was the reason why giving even
Right.
occurred. And then if you scurry over to John
Come on.
chapter number 3, verse number 16, it says that God gave because of love. And it said he loved the
Yes.
world so much that he gave his only
Yeah.
begotten son.
Gave.
And so love
Yes.
doesn't legislate giving. And so I
Yes.
don't
That's
care
right.
what Creflo say. Tithing is not an issue of law, but it's an issue of
Mm-hmm.
love. And I'm
Of
telling
love.
you that if God's got to legislate how you
Mm.
love, and God have to legislate how you show appreciation, then we got
Right.
more of a problem with ourselves and our God
That's
than
right.
we
That's
do
right.
with whether or not
That's
tithing
right.
ought to be done. at all. And so I'm
Yes.
just scared about what's happening out in these gospel streets where people don't read the Bible enough for them to
Mm.
understand what's actually going on. And then for him to apologize and act like the fact that somebody that can discipline themselves enough to say that if God can give me something, I'm going to discipline myself enough to
Mm-hmm,
say
mm-hmm,
thank you.
mm-hmm,
My
mm-hmm.
mama wasn't theologically sound, but that woman had some good sense when
Mm-hmm.
she said, if
Right.
somebody do something nice for you, you ought to
You ought to
be
say
have enough sense to say thank you. And that
yes.
if God
And the
can
tithe
be
is
as
just that.
good as he is, baby, I'm just trying to say thank you. I'm not trying to tip you. I'm not trying to buy you. I'm just trying to say thank you. And if you give me some money, I'm gonna say thank you with it. If you give me my life, I'm gonna say thank you with it.
Yes.
If you
Yes.
give me some time, I'm gonna say thank you with it.
Yes.
If you give me a little bit of a talent, I'm gonna say thank you with it.
Yes.
And so
Come on.
then even with him saying this about tithing, when you look at it, it is giving of every bit of increase.
Eh,
And so then he's
yes.
merely utilizing money when the tithe
Yes.
had nothing to do initially with
With
money
stolen
at
money.
all.
Sure didn't.
Okay,
Sure
so then
didn't.
and so I'm just scared about what's going on out in these streets.
Dr. Story, you gave us the
Mm.
benediction of listen, may the Lord watch between us and
But
Creflo
yeah,
Dollar
right. So
while we
this,
separate
you
one
know
from
this,
another.
right, baby, and we already separated because you sit up here talking about this in great humility that I'm telling everybody I
Right.
was wrong. You wrong even having to
Period.
go and put it in the news and not spread it through your
Yes.
own church. If you were that convicted by it, you're not my pastor. You're
Yes.
not my
Yes.
pastor.
Yes. Yes.
You the pastor, them 30,000 some odd people go to your church, but you put it in the
Right.
news because you wanted to be something salacious. You made sure it got in the news
Mm.
in order for it to be another tool used against the kingdom of God. That's why I said I'm concerned about what's going on out in these gospel streets.
You're right, because when we don't, like you said, when we don't read enough, my godmother always said, if you want to keep in those days, not now, she says, put something put it in a book. Most of us ain't gonna pick it up enough to understand it, to read it, and our
Right,
book definitely has been the Bible, so we don't understand it. To study that to study that showed ourselves approved, rightly dividing the word of truth in that regard. So we're not
right,
rightly, and you're right. The tithe is not solely a monetary thing. It's a life thing. It's giving of
right,
that tenth, and I do it
right,
because I want to do it because I'm showing my love, my appreciation of that, and that's what makes the gospel so difficult because they believe that we're only concerned about money. Listen, baby, keep your money. I'm more concerned about your
right.
soul because when we get your soul
But
right, you'll want to pay the money or
right, but let
give
me stand corrected.
accordingly.
Yeah, let me stand corrected. He preached it on in his Sunday sermon called "The Great Misunderstanding." So let me correct
Mm-hmm.
myself because he didn't just
Mm-hmm.
send it to the newspaper; it just got to the
Right,
news.
right,
So
right,
let me correct that.
right.
He's still wrong about what he's talking about. Let me go back to what I was trying to say because he's still wrong about it.
Yes.
But then also, though, Marty, to your point, in the New Testament, it says that Jesus even spoke to the believers in the New Testament and said that you tithe of anise and cumin, but you omit
Mm-hmm.
the weightier matters of the law, like love.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, you're already in the practice of
Right.
making sure that you're a giver. You already do that, but then what you do
Mm-hmm.
is you mistreat one another. And so Jesus did not need
That's
to
it.
teach on pattern that had already been established, but he spoke on a pattern that needed to be established, which was the care of one another.
Yes.
And so I just, and this comes from somebody, that I respect highly in ministry,
Right,
but
right.
I do think that we struggle when we can change our mind off of one
Mm-hmm.
text and not
Yes.
utilize our complete
The
understanding
full.
of
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right,
Mm-hmm.
Marty.
No, I totally get it, and it just sends the wrong message too often, as if we're fickle in the body of Christ as well. So let's bring on Dr. Story. You always get us started off. I love it. Just jump right in, baby. Just jump right in. Listen, yes. If you agree with Dr. Story, come on. Someone's put in there. I agree in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Amen.
And if you don't agree, correct me. Correct me if you don't agree.
It's all good.
Thank you,
Listen,
brother.
we're so glad. Yes, and y'all, we just want you to. Dr. Stewart won't be with us tonight. He's just going to get rest, so y'all keep him in your prayers. But I'm so glad to have my brother with me. He my real brother. This is my blood brother. This is my road dog. This is one who taught me how to do podcasting and all that. Listen, Dr. Story is the reader of the family. That's right, Sister Flo. Okay. He's the reader of the family. He be sending me books all the time, and he on every Black reading club there is. And I'm so glad to have him as a regular on the show to join me. Nothing like having fam with you. You know, if you can't depend on anybody, you should be able to depend on your family. And listen, I can depend on my brother here. So glad to have, this is my brother from the same mother, none other than Bob Sellers. Bobby!
What's up there? What's up there, ladies and gentlemen? What's up there, panel? What's up there, brother? What's up, bruv?
That's right. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Hey, I'm doing all right, but I just got to let you know something real quick. How am I supposed to follow up after two pastors like that? And how am I supposed to follow up after Creflo and the term salacious? How am I going to follow up after the pastor, Creflo, and salacious? I heard salacious in the wordplay on what she was giving as far as Creflo. But, I'm going to just go ahead and put in terms of my man Nelly Fuller. I'm just going to go ahead and give the VGQ code. And that's like, he said what he said. Okay. Let me break it. That's what he said. That's what Creflo said. That's all I'm saying.
That's what he said.
He said what he said. That's what he said.
He said what he said. Well, that's what he said.
Right.
He said what he said. But can we say this then? Y'all pray my strength. Then can we turn in a couple of those jet planes and some of the other stuff you're doing that was taken from the tide? But anyway, I'm moving on. I don't know the man's income or how he got this. Stuff, I'm just saying, God. Yeah. Anyway, Bobby, how you feeling? What you been up to, man? How you feeling, my brother?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm hanging in there. You know what I'm saying? Trying to learn every day. Still learning. I got a lot to learn. Learn. I'm still learning. But other than that, I'm live and kicking. Hey, I survived the Disneyland fireworks. Hey, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm happy that. Hey, I'm happy that we finally got away from the 4th of July day. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good.
The 4th of
July.
July. Yeah, July day.
Yes, sir. I did my celebration on Juneteenth. So, hey.
I understand.
They gave us a holiday. I'm celebrating.
Yes, sir.
I did mine earlier. I did mine last month, but,
Yes.
We made it through. Happy
we like to take it double. Made it through. So, since we're talking about the 4th of July, whether you lie or not, we know there's lots of folks out here lying. Can we talk about, I was on the phone with a local mayor here just beforehand, and we were just talking about, I never thought about what mayors go through. And she was just sharing with me, how she goes, Marty, the thing I don't want to be is on the news because of shootings. And so, they do all this 4th of July celebration. She goes, now I was trying to shut it down. And she says, we had 9,000 folks show up at an event. She goes, and I'm like, and in her words, she goes, I need to make sure the popo is around to protect the people, because I'm not going to be on the national news talking about shooting in this Southern California city. In that regard, so I respect her in that regards. But what is going on? You just moved to DC, my brother. What is going on with all these? All these shootings that continue to happen. Today, I was just looking on the archives of the last 72 hours of gun shootings. We've had over 30 gun shootings just on today across the nation. That's a problem. We're supposed to be this great, powerful nation, and yet we had this shooting at a parade. And I'm not gonna lie, I do, like we talked about kind of pre-show, hold my breath and be like, okay, Lord, not trying to be funny, but who's the shooter? And I'm not gonna lie, there's a sense of relief that kind of comes when it's not a black person or a person of color, that comes because we already know that we're profiled and subjugated, because I know that they would have killed that person, but this person who shoots and kills 30 people injures hundreds of others, and they just get off scot-free. What's up with that? Bobby, talk to me.
Well, honestly, we gonna keep it. We gonna keep it 100. We all know that is a straight form of injustice. When shooting goes on, or any type of weaponry that we show, we get killed, right?
Mm-hmm. We don't even have to have weapons.
Exactly. And if
we can have a box of Skittles.
Yes, exactly. And if you're European American, you get away with it. So that's injustice. We see it. We see that we see the indifference of the power. And getting back to what you were saying, that we sit back and be like, wait a minute here. What's the shooter? Because we know if we get charged with any type of crime, they run terror through our neighborhoods. We know that. We get all types of backlash if it's us. That's the reason why we're like so anxious, like, oh shit, oops, my fault, ladies and gentlemen. We were like, oh no, I hope this person who did this ill intent wasn't non-white, because we know whenever you're non-white,
well, what Lucille said, that wasn't one of the bad words. Our grandmother,
right, yeah. Exactly.
She said there's 3 words, and she was a mother of the church.
Yeah,
that was one of her words. That wasn't a bad word.
Yeah, so we see the injustice.
But you're absolutely right.
We see it. We see the injustice, and it's like, wait a minute here. It's like we see it, but they want us to be like, you didn't see that. We saw it. It's right in front of us. We see it.
Yeah. And we wonder why we have so many challenges.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
How is that suspect? How is that suspect taken into custody?
Yeah, peacefully taken into custody. And so it does create. I just got calls here recently, and just this week alone, I got some calls about a black young lady who was in Arizona going to school out there, who was calling about her roommate to do a wellness check. Long story short, her roommate was white. She was black. She's calling the police to say, hey, I'm trying to do a wellness check on my roommate. Do you know, long story short, she was arrested and then booked with felony charges, and she did nothing wrong. She was trying to do a wellness check, and they said that she was actually the one doing the violence and everything. And so not only she's possibly getting kicked out of school, but now she's going to possibly have this felony record on her case, so she can't go into social work and therapy and everything like she can, because she won't be able to clear a DOJ background check if that is the case. So now we got to hire all these attorneys and all, and so the injustice that happens when you're looking at, when it's even on a smaller scale of schools, but you're looking at this now. She has PTSD. A lot of our black men have PTSD, and so she's talking about how she gets nervous when she sees a police officer. I know that when we see a police officer, we're now immediately checking our speed. 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, look straight ahead. You have the heart beating fast, and you are not even doing anything wrong. You even check and say, you could have just paid your car registration yesterday, and you just go, okay, is my car registration up to date? Can they see everything? So it definitely has created a dichotomy, and this whole thing with our mental health that we cannot escape, that continues to happen when injustices that's just for us continue to happen in our society, and we wonder why we are in the shape that we're in. Dr. Story, talk to us.
Well, just with what Bobby was saying, it brings me back to Kyle Rittenhouse. He just so happened to have, an assault rifle at a Black Lives Matter event off of
Right.
water, to make sure that he's refreshed as he could be prior to shooting whoever
Right.
the devil he feels like shooting. And he gets there, and his defense is that he was afraid. You weren't invited to
Right.
I can't even fathom how we're still at a place. And so this systemic evil and
Mm-hmm.
racism that will
Mm-hmm.
support somebody feeling like they're being threatened. This is a Black Lives Matter event, sugar. This,
Mm-hmm.
this, this,
Mm-hmm.
this, I'm not saying you were excluded, but you definitely weren't the one we were trying to get here to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And then to have also, as you're saying, Marty, this PTSD that is
Mm-hmm.
widespread, because it used to be my mother would say she was afraid for her black boys because she got five black
Mm-hmm.
men, you know, and she was
Mm-hmm.
always
Mm-hmm.
afraid for them. It's just if you're black or brown, you better be on high alert no matter what. Jaywalking. I don't know if you could walk too fast. I don't know if you could be on them
Mm-hmm.
scooters and
Mm-hmm.
get killed. You know, and it's so many things that are going on. But one of the things that I believe is one of the big challenges of today is that it doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter so that we can't get
Mm-hmm.
any type of legislation done on any level, because everybody keeps saying that the Congress or the Senate needs to do some things. Well, what about in your community at the Walmart? Like you
Yes.
ain't got to have
Yes.
Washington D.C. to say that there needs to be a check, or that Walmart shouldn't be able to sell assault rifles during any
Mm-hmm.
hunting season. You know what I mean?
Right.
There should not be a way for us to get hollowed out armament, bullets for any reason at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it starts at the level right where we're on, because we want it to trickle down, and we got to change it
Mm-hmm.
from right around and not allow it to trickle down, because it's going to remain the same. We're going to remain the target.
That's
We're going to
good.
remain the ones that are victimized over and over again, because it doesn't matter.
Mm.
It doesn't
You're
matter.
right.
And then we try to play like it matters with Roe v. Wade. And it doesn't matter,
Oh.
because Roe v. Wade has nothing to do with anything, because you don't care how many kids we have for real.
Mm. Talk about it.
Because lives don't really matter, but control matters. So then you can
That part.
control what's going on in the inner city by keeping guns and all of that going on. You can control that, and you can say it's this community, and you can say it's because of them having mental health issues. Well, why in the devil that ain't one of the check marks on whether or not you can get a gun? But we've got to start ensuring that our voices are heard from right around, and not allow legislation to necessarily have to come down, because we've got to start determining what matters in our own communities.
Totally agree. Because it's harder to get alcohol, cigarettes, or get into a club than it is to get an assault rifle. You said something about. Let's talk, since you opened the door for Roe versus Wade, in that
Mm.
regards, because I love what you're saying, because it's under the disguise of all that lives matter, that life is important. However, I see you, Bobby, and I'm going to go right to you.
Yeah.
You know, when we talk about, because all lives in the form of this are not important. All lives do not matter. And that's why you have these Black Lives Matter movements, because we're saying, listen, we're saying that since you don't value our lives, we're letting you know that we value our lives, and that this is a disguise to hide the bigger issue. We cannot ignore what I call I'm trying to be nice.
Mhm.
Our Caucasian lady counterparts that says, "Thank you, President Trump, for preserving white lives." When she said, "Talk to us, Bobby,"
She's a
you're
nationalist.
scratching your
She,
head.
she's a nationalist. That's what she's supposed to do. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And and
yeah.
and 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 that the Roe, I think the Roe versus Wade, just my opinion, is just propaganda
Hmm.
on other things that they
Yeah.
Of
intend
course.
potentially plan on doing. You know, I mean, they got the
Hmm.
conservative court. Therefore, Roe versus Wade,
Hmm.
they pick this apart. They're liable. They're going to pick other things apart. This is part of their
Oh, that's
plan.
just
You know, they've been
inevitable.
working on this. Yeah, they've been working on it since Roe versus Wade passed and all them other bills that
Back in the
passed.
70s.
Exactly. They play a chess game. They do
Mhm.
it 24/7. Basically, hey, it's all about if you're non-white, you don't matter. Hell, the
Mhm.
white women don't even
And
matter to them.
well, and that's what's so
So,
sad because we got to look at when
yeah,
we got to look at the original the when the Constitution was written, it was written for white men. Because let's think about it, women didn't have any suffrage. No,
and own
no, no,
land
no. So we know that the black man was considered 3/5 of a man, and
And
black women
property.
just didn't. And property, yes, and property, right,
Mhm.
right, right, right. And black women were just considered property; they weren't even considered a person. With the and then we're talking about the indigenous population. You know, they just we want to strip. So when we look at we are basing modern day principles, and we wonder why we have so many mental health challenges and problems in our country, and because we're basing still modern day principles upon a law that was never inclusive in the beginning. It was extremely
Yeah.
exclusive from the get go. So, why are we still resting our values and morals on something that was extremely exclusive and designed to be exclusive? And they even purposely written so it would be exclusive some 200, 400, 500 years later. And that's what we're fighting in all aspects of it, that all men are created equal. That's a lie. They never meant that. That was
propaganda.
all white men were created equal in that.
That's
But
right.
then let's be true. They didn't want to deal with PWT in that regards. Even then, it was if you had a
You
royalty
know,
or some part of
well,
well,
Mhm.
and
if
Mm.
you
that
got
becomes a
money, you
problem.
good.
Yes. So Roe versus Wade, I agree with you. I think it's going to send this snowball effect if we're not careful. And that's why I think we have to call on all our people now to register and vote, because we have to make sure that our voice, we can no longer as a people in a community complain about what's not happening in the world if we're not participating in the process and then we hold our local people accountable. Okay, I may not be able to get to you at the White House. I may not be able to get to you in the Senate and definitely not in the Supreme Court, but I can go to my local assemblyman. I can go to my mayor. I can go to the school board. I can go to those things. Those people I can call and protest right in front of their house, if you will. Rita, what you
Right.
thinking?
Yeah.
And another point that I'm trying to make is because a lot of Christians act as if Roe v. Wade somehow legitimizes what their faith practices
Right,
are.
right.
And the truth of the matter is that God never needed laws to legislate what believers chose to believe.
That's good.
That's why the Catholic Church don't care what's on the books. They write their own laws out and send them to their own
Right,
people, and they say
right.
whatever they believe, and they utilize their own tenets. The same thing with Islam. Islam is
Hmm.
not looking for laws to legislate their faith practices. And I don't know why Christians act as if this is one of your Christian tenets, then don't do it.
Hmm.
And I mean,
Hmm.
if that's something you believe, don't do it. I remember I was at a church and they were saying that this was a pork free church. It was a Christian church. And they were saying it was a pork free church. And didn't nobody tell me. And so every day I was getting me, some bacon and and bread and some for breakfast. And so they were like, Reverend Story, we don't eat pork here.
Gotta pay
I said,
attention.
well, I ain't offered
Yeah,
pork to nobody here.
Right. I ain't offering it.
And
yeah,
they were like,
Y'all
yeah.
don't,
yeah,
but
y'all don't eat it. But I
I just
eat
need a couple
pork.
strips of bacon.
Listen, I can't stay this big without putting the work in. But my point was that they were legislating stuff in a building. And then I
Hmm.
found out later on when I went over to a couple of people's houses, they got pork ribs out on the grill and everything else because they wanted to accept the law in a
Right.
place and then live another way somewhere else. I'm talking
Right.
better
That's
than I'm
good. That's
getting
good.
this
That's
time.
good.
And so
That's
then
good.
we're
That's
looking for the land to legislate something that we're gonna go home and do whatever we want to do any old doggone
right.
way.
Right. Right. That's good. That's
And so
good.
then Christians have got to stop acting as if, especially these quote unquote evangelicals that's trying to steal what the word evangelical means, that we've
Mm-hmm.
got to start getting to a place where we live by the word of God because it's our choice, not
Mm-hmm.
because
It's
somebody is
legislated.
willing to have a law to support our faith practices.
That's good. That's good.
Well, I
Talk
know
to me.
one thing. I think certain people I think we pray to different gods, because if they're
Well,
talking
see?
about God is love and justice, they have hundreds of years to change some things. So I think we're not even definitely not praying to the same God.
Talk,
And it's
sir.
just people,
Talk.
we gotta pay attention. We gotta pay attention, especially now.
Mm-hmm.
We've
Mm-hmm.
had so many wake
Mm-hmm.
up calls. There's gonna come a time when we have to pay attention. So as far as
Well,
these
a
laws,
time of
just
accountability
go
is going to
to
happen.
go to government, go to congress.gov, senate.gov, whitehouse.gov, and see what's going on. We have to start paying
Yeah.
attention and tune in, because
Well,
if
that's
not,
good.
we've seen how they've had several bills that we're not even discussing that slip by us.
That's right.
So we have,
That's right.
this is part of the game. This is part of, I know we got second class citizenship, but this is part of the game of citizenship. You have to
Yes,
pay attention
it
to the
is.
laws because they affect everybody.
Absolutely.
Because we see they're going
Yeah.
back, and who knows? If they went back to Roe versus Wade, they're gonna keep digging. Like, let's see how far we go back. Dred Scott, voting rights. We already
Yes,
seen
but
that.
let's
Yeah, voting
yes,
rights,
but they're
right,
doing it
right.
in the voting rights already by
That's right.
They're doing it.
realigning things and making sure that what they call marginalized people are have a more difficult time. We're not going to do mail-in ballots. We're going to make them drive 50, 60, 70 miles. Well, that's going to discourage me. Do y'all know how much gas costs in California? It cost me $110 to fill up my tank today. I'm like, I'm about to get a bus pass for real and be doing
And you
therapy
went
on the
into
bus.
yeah,
We need some trains. We need some better
Right,
transportation. Come on, Buttigieg. Come on, Buttigieg. Come on,
yeah,
transportation.
right,
Come on, man. We
right,
have to
yeah,
get
right,
green.
yeah,
right.
There's a whole bunch of people don't need to be driving. Come on, up
yeah,
the public,
yeah,
Exactly.
up the public
yeah,
transportation game. Come on, come on.
Well,
yeah,
you know that
yeah.
takes
But
all
I
this.
think
That
this is
takes
the
a.
game.
It is, and I agree with you that there's a big undercurrent that's going on, but they got us paying attention to this and get us uproused
Yes.
about this. Then that can we go right here? Since we're talking about Roe versus Wade, I want to stir the pot just a little bit. Macy Gray, did y'all hear what Macy Gray had to say? Did you hear Macy Gray? Macy Gray said, listen, in her Macy Gray voice. Some of y'all ain't gonna like it. I don't care. I'm gonna say what I said, and I mean what I said. Macy Gray is talking about now she's not hating on trans women. She's not. She says, however, just because you go in and change your body parts. Now, y'all, I'm quoting Macy Gray. Don't I don't want no hate mail and y'all unlike and unsubscribe. I'm just quoting Macy Gray. She says, just because you go in and change your body parts, I'm gonna say it like her, and I want to do the Marty translation of that too. It says, does not make you a woman. And by the same token, I think she would have to say it in the reverse as well, does not make you a man in that regard. So she is saying because there are some innate things that women, because you can take testosterone, you can take estrogen, it still is not going to make you because your body parts. And so she's been getting a lot of grief. I think she and Bette Midler are going back and forth about that. Now, I don't know if this was a publicity stunt for Macy Gray, but it's working. It's working in that regards. Now, Macy Gray's always been a little strange, but she said a point that just because you change your body parts does not make you a woman. In that regards. So, Dr. Story, your face is real straight right there. You're like, ooh, what?
Well, I don't even know what the point of this is. I'm kind of, we were teasing this a little earlier. I
Yes.
like this gotta be a publicity stunt, like, because nobody has even mentioned Macy's Gray. What's her last name? Gray. Her
Macy
last
Gray.
name.
Oh,
Macy Gray.
Oh,
oh, oh, oh.
Oh God, help us, Jesus. Yes, Macy Gray. She's an
I,
actress
I
and
mean,
singer.
okay. See, I didn't even remember because she ain't even been on Where Are They? I mean, we ain't even put her on Where Are They now. She ain't even been on that. But
I
listen,
can't.
I don't know what the point is with Macy
Well,
with
it
that.
kind of
I
came
don't
out of the
know.
Roe versus. It was a spinoff of the Roe versus Wade in that regards, and so I'm not. I
It
need to. So I
can't
don't
be
want to
though, Marty.
misquote her.
Yeah,
I don't
it
want to
can't be
misquote
because
her.
you have. Yeah, but you have to have a uterus to do it. Like you can't have a baby. So if you change your body parts, you gotta have a uterus, and they've not replaced space with uterus and fallopian tubes. They've just given vaginas and penises. They've
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
replaced all of that, and so that's not a Roe v. Wade kind of thing. You still gotta have a uterus and fallopian. Like we
Hmm.
gotta. What class is
Hmm.
this? What is this? What class is this? Because you got to
Well,
be, you're
we
going
do
to
need to
the
go back
health
to.
class,
They need
ninth
to
grade
introduce
health
health.
class.
What was
Wait,
what was what what did you say, Doc? What was
look what Portia said. I come for the amazing content, but I stay for the laughs. I know.
oh
I'm just
man.
saying. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there because Macy Gray is making a point about Roe versus Wade, about what womanhood and all this that she's talking about. Now, Bobby, you
This is
shaking your head.
baffling
You're
me.
shaking your head.
This is
I,
baffling me.
hey, hey, for all y'all don't know, I'm gonna go by the code by Dr. Nellie Fuller. I'm gonna give it
Uh-oh.
to once again. I'm gonna give it the
Listen,
VGQ
you can't
code.
be giving that. You can't be giving
I'm
that
giving the
code all night
VGQ
tonight.
code.
They said what
She
they
said
said.
what she had to say. She said what she said. And for all y'all don't know that, look up Nellie Fuller, and the VGQ code means victim guaranteed qualification. So if you're a victim of white supremacy, whatever you say, I'm with it.
Guaranteed,
So she said what she
guaranteed
said.
qualification. She said what she said.
She
The
said what she
VGC
said.
code.
She's a
Please.
victim of white supremacy. She has a right to think and have her own opinion and say what she want to say. Because what
Wow.
I mean by that is
She
it's
does.
all
Yeah, she
confusion.
does.
This is
Yeah.
confusion. It's confusing
It's
adults. What do you think this is
shenanigans.
doing to the little kids? Like, mommy,
This is
what
shenanigans.
is what?
This is
It's
shenanigans.
all confusion. It's all
Shenanigans.
confusion.
This is
Well, if
Hey,
we
shenanigans.
it's
confused, we
We're,
know
once
the
again we're
kids is
playing into the
confused.
game.
we're confused. We're confused. And so the
Yeah,
next
the
one
grown
doesn't need
adults
to
are
be mental
confused.
health, Marty. This needs to be ninth grade health class where we could work out the
I
fact
want to
that
introduce
they're
it
not.
in seventh grade.
Okay, well,
You
seventh
know,
Hey,
grade health class.
hey,
This
I'm
is
going with it.
crazy.
but
She said
everything
what she said.
she said what she said. She did say what she said.
She
So,
said,
but
Yeah, she
things are getting
said.
so out of control. I think it definitely talked about controlling women's bodies, and then I do have to agree with if we're going to put some legislation on women's bodies, then we also need to put legislation on men's bodies as well, especially for these men
hold
out
up.
here.
Wait. Time out,
Well,
brother.
now,
Wait a minute.
Bobby.
Hey, there's double
Now
standards in life, brother.
So
There's
you're gonna go
double
with the double
standards in life.
standard? We're gonna
Hey, hey,
standardize the woman and
hey, hold
let the
on.
man who impregnates all these women especially that man that got 33 kids and proud of it. I'm like, oh, I almost said that Negro, please. But I'm like, come
We
on
need more
now,
soldiers.
33
We need
kids.
more
Hey,
soldiers
hey,
out here. We need more
not
soldiers
like
out here.
that.
Bobby,
Not like that. Not 33. He can't talking about he take care of all his kids. Do your kids even know? Do you even know all your kids' names? And do you know
There's
all their
yeah,
birthdays?
There's two parties that make a baby. There's
Well,
two
I
parties.
it
understand.
is.
Now,
It is.
you're right. You're right. But at the same time, it takes two parties. If we're going to do Roe versus Wade with these women, we need to also hold these men responsible
Hold up.
well, hold up.
What do you got in
Bobby?
mind?
Come on.
What do you got in mind? Like what needs to
Now,
be done next? What are you talking about,
You
bro?
know what?
What
Bobby
you talking
is
about, bro?
afraid over here, and I need to know
What you
why.
talking about, bro?
There's a
What you
big-
talking about, bro? Hold on. We need to clarify this communication. Hold on. Like one question and
now, some
answers.
of them,
Let me
they
get
need
to
to
the
stop
truth. Let's
producing
get
some
to the
kids, and
truth
they
of
need
this.
to have
Questions and
they need to
answers.
have some snip, and tie up and cut up, and say you're gonna go crazy.
Okay.
Now, see, you agree with me on that because it
Well,
costs too
hey,
much to
you know
take
what?
care of these kids.
I mean, hey, we need soldiers, no question. Now, I don't have no kids. I can't speak on it too much. However, some of these brothers do need snips. Some of them do. Some of them
Thank
do.
you.
Because
Some of them
because you
do.
know what I'm saying. Only reason why I'm saying that because that makes us look
Thank
bad.
you.
Meaning the
That
single
part.
fellows because
That part.
now
Yes.
women sometimes, well, all of us in relationships, but hey,
Come on,
women sometimes
Ames.
take it hard and take it hard on the others, us other fellas. So I'm just trying to
I
make
get
sure the
you.
game is
You
cool with
know.
us.
You
That's all.
know.
That's
I
all.
think we got to be
But
careful with this.
we do have to be
Yes,
very careful. I totally agree. But
but
I'm being extreme on purpose because here's my heart does go out about this Roe versus Wade because we have to bring mental health services to
Yes.
these people, to everyone. I definitely believe, even in Planned Parenthood and all that, I'm a firm believer. Listen, baby,
I agree.
you gonna get some mental health services because what you're going through is going to alter your whole life. Your life will never be the same ever again. And if we can find that jackleg joker that come in here, he gonna have to go through some mental health class. I'm pulling everybody in because it takes two to tango.
Jack Leg joke.
A
Who's the
jack leg
Who's the
joker.
Jack Leg Joker? Who is that?
Yes, well,
Is that the male?
sometimes,
What? The
yeah,
Jack
that's the
Leg
male.
Joker.
That's the male, the jackleg joker. But
The
sometimes
jack leg joker.
I think it's just an issue of timing.
Yes.
Sometimes I think it's immaturity that comes
Yes.
along
All that.
with it, and immaturity and sexuality unfortunately happen
Mm-hmm.
at the same time because at the
Mm-hmm.
height of most young people's sexuality, they're very
Yes.
immature, and because of
Yes.
that immaturity, and then as you're saying as well, the finances that comes along with doing some things and raising a family
Yes.
it is extreme these days. But I agree with you. The mental health pieces I think need to
Yes.
occur even before we get to the place where we're
There
talking
we go.
about
There we go.
parenthood. I think we need to talk
Yes.
about it with our sex and our sexuality because sex and
Yes.
sexuality come together. And when you're informed, even though you may be young, you don't have to be immature and lack
That part.
knowledge. You know what I
But
mean? You
Dr.
might
Story.
not.
Uh-huh. I'm saying
Mhm. Go
so.
on.
So here's my challenge, and even my call. I think a part of it is we have to look at the support systems that people have, and I think a lot of people don't have proper support systems. And I think the biggest part support system that we are missing out because a lot of us, I'm gonna say it this way: the church needs to be learn how to be a support system about talking about sex, sexuality, and all that, not from a point of shaming, talking about you gonna go to hell and all this,
Right.
and keep because the Southern Baptist and the Catholic Church is really, if we pull the covers back on them and all the sex that they having, it's a shame. So how you gonna tell folks not to have
Baby, they
sex, and the
having
priests and the
sex at
pastors
the
they
Southern
having sex
Baptist.
everywhere?
Baby, and with the
Right,
children. I mean, with the babies,
right.
they like, listen. You ain't gonna have to learn this. We gonna teach y'all this by the laying on the hand. They need to go to prison and be locked up for the rest of their life.
That part,
And those
that part.
who have shoved it under the ground, they need to. But
Yes,
because they're part of that nationalist group that Bobby keeps talking about, many of them
yes.
they it keeps
Part of
getting
it.
swept under the covers, and they are part of that good old boy club, and so they know the
Yep,
judges, they know the
yep.
attorneys, they know the
It's a system.
legislators, and they know who they
Yes,
can pay to keep what they've done outside, and they hide their trash until their children grow up enough to be saying, "I've been having sex with Bobby Joe when we was at the thing when he was the deacon at the church," and so then
right.
they're saying those things later on. But we've got to get to the place where we also understand that the church has got to have some trained individuals. We've
That
got
part,
too
that
many
part.
individuals that's got a burning but ain't got no learning. And we need some
Right.
people that are in some
Say
consistent
that one more time.
training.
Say it one more time for the back row. They
They
got a
they
what?
they got burning but no learning. They
Mm-hmm.
anointed
But
of
no
God,
learning.
but they ain't went through the halls of academia. But the other thing is that not only
Come
getting
on.
a degree, but we need some individuals who can continue their education,
Yes.
and there needs to be some stuff that we are in those CPE courses that you take those
Yes.
counseling courses. We need to be in some PPE courses, some pastoral
Yes.
courses that continue us in it in
Yes.
order to ensure that we have the latest and best information. Also,
That's
though,
right.
those that are in leadership in the church need to go through some psychiatric evaluation. Now, all of
I'm
this
all
trying to
for
see if
having to
I'm
go through
going
a
to steal
psychiatric
money.
eval.
Do a psychiatric eval. You want to check my credit, but you won't give me a psychiatric eval. You don't know if
Hmm.
I'm a pedophile, but you want to make sure that I got a good credit. You better come on here. And
Yes.
background
Yes.
checks are cool, but background checks are not enough, because background checks will only tell you what they've had charges on and what they've been convicted of, but it will not
Hmm.
tell you of the proclivities of a person. Where if they get a real mental health check, it'll tell you of the proclivities of those. Bobby, what?
I'm writing that down. Proclivity. You hit this. You dropping bombs on us. Proclivities. There we
Bobby,
go.
that
There we go.
it
Each
has
one teach one. That's right, Doc. I'm learning.
no,
But you're right. You're right.
but
Yeah.
but it does, but that's one of the things that we saw even with the last president that came through,
Yes.
that y'all didn't do
Yes.
a mental health
Yes.
exam on him, so you knew he was stupid, but you didn't know he was a flat out fool till you gave him complete control of the world. Now you know that he cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs could get 2 checks for all of them personalities that he has, and because we don't do
I like that. Oh, you dropping
Well,
bombs, yo.
if I'm gonna be controlling the check, he gonna get just a half of one. In fact, he gonna have to pay us for the service because he can afford it. He doesn't get a sliding
he need
scale
an
at all.
SSI check. He need an SSI check. I'm talking about for
Mm-mm.
disability. And I thank God that
He
God
got
has
enough to pay
proven
for his
that
own
even if he
disability.
okay, well, he could pay for his own disability. You're right. But after he go to prison for the January 6th event that he claimed ain't never happened, after he goes to
Right.
prison for that, trust me, you're going to see just how crazy he really is. Because I'm telling you,
Mm.
that's going to be the reason why he can't go to jail, is because he doesn't have the mental capacity to withstand that kind of time in federal prison. Because
Mm.
there's something wrong
Well,
with
yeah.
him.
Right
It
on
really,
point.
really is.
Right on point.
Yeah.
Right on
It
point.
Yeah.
really, because he's not gonna be able to
Um,
get out of this. Because now all of the canaries are singing. Everybody's singing
mm.
now. They tweedledee. Everybody's singing now because they no.
She
It,
busted
it
out the
feel like
heavy
what?
D.
Right. Oh, I
Busted out
thought
the
you were
heavy D.
rocking Robin.
Yeah. You got our own thing. Yeah. Oh man, the
I
Hepster.
can't. I can't.
Oh,
Y'all, we're almost out of time. I didn't even get to talk about the Akron shooting that happened with that young man
Oh
with
yeah,
had over
we already know what
90.
that is.
yeah,
That's
We
a
do.
ridiculous.
We
mess.
do. We do.
That's
That
ridiculous.
90
Yeah,
bullets?
90.
90,
90. So, on
90,
alleged, he shot at him. Allegedly.
allegedly.
Now,
Allegedly.
I understand he had the weaponry in the car when he found it and all that.
We all allowed to have
But
guns, I thought,
how
right? I thought we all was allowed to carry
well,
guns now.
well,
Amendment 2
well,
rights,
well,
right?
in
I thought we
in
all allowed,
Ohio, don't they
you know
have
what I mean?
the what's that new law they just put into pass? Stand your ground law in Ohio?
Yeah, but
And they
let me
got to
tell you
carry
what they're not
concealed.
doing in New York. You ain't standing your ground in New York, and everybody can't have a gun either in New York. Baby, that governor, as soon as they came out with that mess, she was like, it ain't happening in New York. So don't go running nowhere to buy no guns, because it ain't happening. She was like, cut that mess. I don't care what's going on in the nation. New York will not be doing that. Yeah,
Right, right.
vote
California,
me
we can't
out.
afford to do it either. Because the Bay Area, baby, it'll be the Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
It's
Right,
going
right,
And
there.
right.
all of the
That's where
murders
they
in
that's where
Philly,
they
my
want to go.
God.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
That's
And
right. No.
so we have a long way to go, y'all. And I appreciate us just having this conversation and just, we unfiltered. We just saying what we feel, and just sharing our opinion from our community, and what a lot of
Yeah,
people want to say, but a lot of times don't have the platforms to say what they want to. And in it, y'all, our whole purpose is to help to educate, to bring light on the subjects, to let you know just from a different perspective. We're not asking you to agree with us. We can agree to disagree. And I love, we all of us on this panel, we love each other, and we don't care. Ain't nothing that we can do about it. We love Dr. Sean in his absence
yeah,
today, and we'll
Yeah,
we'll go
Miss
out and be
Shawn
like,
today.
okay, yes,
yes.
yes, definitely, and we'll check up on. We didn't have we were supposed to go hang out for 4th of July in Dallas. That just not happen. We got to get together, Rita. We gonna make it something.
We
Uh,
got to.
uh, uh, uh,
We got to. I got a
Junior,
Yeah,
we're
we
going
should.
birthday
We,
somewhere
coming
in
we're
up.
gonna have to do a
September.
live show. We're gonna have to do a live show. We're gonna have to do a
I
live
think
show.
that would
Oh
be hot. All
yes,
of us do together
Bobby.
and do a live
Live
show.
show. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Live show on
we got
location.
to
You know
do
what I mean?
that. Oh, that's
You
good. That's good.
y'all
Well, we gonna have to
listen. I want to go
let's
to
buy out the East
Disneyland.
Coast. No, we ain't gonna. It
No,
costs
why?
too
I'm
much.
gonna be at home. I'm gonna be at home.
Oh, okay. But uh,
Uh,
even Southern
Sorry.
California president. Okay, okay. She
It's a
coming out here to
small world at
Cali.
Disneyland. It's a small
It
world at
never
Disneyland.
it
You be
never
like, is that
rains.
it? You be like, is
It's a
that
small
it?
world.
Where the black folks now?
Oh, wait. Whoopi's in It's a Small World now.
Oh,
Whoopi got a
okay,
statue in
okay.
It's a Small World. I said, come
Oh,
on,
oh,
Whoopi Goldberg.
all right. There it
I
is.
man, I so before we leave, Bobby, how do the people get to
Yeah.
follow you and still stay in track with you tonight?
Hey, you can check me out on my IG at AR Sales 2, the number 2, AR Sales 2, the number 2. You can check us at the B-Side Podcast. On IG, go to the B-Side Podcast Q. Also, check us out at AlecRoberts.com. We got some gear, got some merchandise. Go to AlecRoberts.com, IG, Alec Roberts.
Yes, I need some new gear, Junior. Okay,
Hey, it's
and
all it's
Dr.
all good.
Story. Dr. Story. Dr. Story says she needs some gear too. Dr. Story, how do we
We got Story too. We got her. We got her.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do we stay in contact with you, Dr. Story?
I am on Facebook and all of the other stuff at Dr. Margarita Story, and I'm on
Yeah.
Facebook absolutely every day with Will You Pray
Yes.
with Me, and I hope you guys will be with me as well. And I'm hanging out with Marty and the guys, and so you can catch me with them every now and then. Thank you,
Yes,
Marty.
yes. No, thank you, guys. Listen, I appreciate both of you coming on. I look forward to the first Tuesday of every month because we just get
Yes,
to
we
kind
do
of
the
just
same.
cut up, have a good time, and everything. And we're trying to blow this up. And so, thank you both so much. Know that I love you both. And
Much
as
love.
we do this, just to kind of share, Black culture, community, and Christ. That's what we do. That's how we roll. But anyway, we want to thank you for joining us for this edition of Mental Health Marty, as we always do. And that was new, Daryl, pulling me in like that. Okay, I like it. The Mac in the back, he's doing his thing. Listen, look for some new stuff as we are rebranding and redoing a whole bunch of things that you're going to see in the near future with Mental Health Marty, and definitely some new programs that are going to be rolling out very soon. But before we go, we never want you to be able to leave here feeling defeated, but we want to share with you some resources just in case you're looking for some mental health resources. Again, if you're experiencing any type of crises, you can text crises to 741741, and there will be someone that's live there to support you, and it's definitely kept in privacy. Go to psychologytoday.com there, and therapy for Black men as well as good therapy as well. And then, of course, marcelconsulting.com. We have some scholarships that we're partnering with My Legacy House of Los Angeles to bring community therapy to those who are in need. But also in this mental health journey, we want you to support you with some merchandise that we do have as well. So please check out our merchandise on mentalhealthmarty.com, where you can get our journal, Stop the Stinking Thinking. Hashtag mental health matters. That's me. Yes. Also check out Black Mental Health Matters or Black Men Matter. And we want to definitely get that message out because too often we as Black men, we are only allowed to be excited on the sports field, be sexual or show anger. And there's so much more to us than that. In this journey called life, we never want you to continue to secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but we want you to be well and strong in your mental health. So how do you do that? By speaking up, by speaking out, by living your best life, because the best is still yet to come. We'll see you next week, okay? God bless.